Pacific Standard Time is a member-supported podcast from the San Francisco Standard.
Join today at sfstandard.com/member.
Hey everyone, we're doing something a little different today. Earlier this week, we recorded the first ever live taping of PST at Manny's in the Mission. We had a great crowd, it was a lot of fun, so here's that episode.
Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Emily Dreyfuss.
I'm Alejandro Cottrell.
And this is a live taping of Pacific Standard Time, the new flagship podcast from the San Francisco Standard.
We're here to talk about joy, and it's maybe a difficult time, I think, for a lot of people to talk about joy and remember that joy is something that we all, probably should have even in moments when things are rough. And it's been a really rough last year, right, for a number of reasons. And so we wanted to do a show to look into some of the reasons, some of the reasons maybe to feel joy in this moment.
And one thing that inspired this idea is that last year, man, everyone I knew, at least in my life, seemed like they were living on the edge, just like one, traffic annoyance away from a nervous breakdown. And at the end of the year in particular, there was just like a lot of burnout. Like every millennial parent I know, if there are any in the audience, just felt like, wow, something has really got to give. And I started hearing around New Year's this kind of defiant tone crop into my friends and my friend group being like, you know what, God damn it, this year, I'm not going to let despair take over. I'm going to be happy no matter what, which seemed like a real challenge. But I feel that too. Like, I don't want to let the darkness in.
I did not hear that from my friends. I'm an immigration reporter, and the circles I run in right now things are looking pretty bleak, but I love that energy, And I would love to have some of that in my life. And so I am here to listen and hopefully feel better, or at least think about some ways that I can feel better.
And the truth is, right, like it is a really dark time, and happiness is something that we have to work toward. And there are ways in which we can be deliberate about it. And you can see people attempting to be really deliberate about having joy in their lives. Google searches for the how to be happy are up, especially also year of whimsy. It was trending last week. People are like, I'm gonna embrace whimsy and joy at all costs. It also seemed like our city had gone through a dark time. Remember the whole doom loop narrative? Last year was the year that narrative died. We entered our boom loop era. And in that spirit, we want to talk about the way in which people are trying to defiantly enter their personal boom loop era.
So on today's show, we are going to be talking about how San Franciscans are embracing joy in these two extreme, maybe, and very distinct San Francisco ways.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the stuff that you already know, which is like how to be happier, like cultivate more friendships, go for a walk, drink water. This is advice that you already know you should be doing.
Your therapist is already telling you that. You're paying them a lot of money to do that. We won't waste your time with that, right?
Yeah, but in San Francisco, we have a lot of extremes here and a lot of like countercultures and fringe cultures. And we're going to talk about two aspects of those. One of those are the self-optimizers in San Francisco, the data obsessives and the people who are going to improve themselves. We will talk about how their approach to joy this year is about control. What can I take control of in my life? And then we're going to talk about the opposite side of that, which is the people who are embracing release. And rather than control, like, let's just get into a little chaos, or analog experiences, or just like old school, like let the world take us, walk into the ocean and be free.
or have an orgy.
Right.
So we were going to be joined by two very special guests, Zara Stone, one of my favorite reporters at the San Francisco Standard, who's our tech reporter and is going to talk us through some of this self-optimization stuff, and William Winters, who runs the Bonobo Network, a very successful alternative sex community in the Bay Area.
And first, we would now like to invite Zara Stone to please come on stage.
Zara, yeah, we love you. Yeah, Zara. So, Zara, let's just start off. I mean, you're a great tech reporter, and we're going to get into all your reporting, but I'm just kind of personally curious, how are you planning on embracing joy this year in 2026?
Sure. Well, I think once my arm gets better, more skiing.
Okay.
This was skiing related.
Oh. Yeah.
Espresso martinis.
Ooh.
And also, I think I'm going to take up wing foiling.
What is that the thing Mark Zuckerberg does when he's wearing a lot of white makeup on his face?
It's the cheaper version of that.
Okay. So it's like a water sport.
It's like that, but without a motor.
Love it. Okay. And why espresso martini?
Because they're delicious.
Okay, fair. I like them because they're an upper and a downer at the same time.
I mean, also friends and all that, but, I feel like those are the go-to answers, so.
Yeah. Great. Well, so Zara, you report on the scene that we're talking about, self-optimizers here at San Francisco, and I have the honor of being Zara's editor, which is extremely exciting because the tips she gets and the world you're in is so interesting. And the people that you are talking to every day are kind of working hard to be like fitter, better, more productive in various different ways. And for this conversation, we're going to ask you about some of the methods that they're using that maybe other people have not heard about yet. First, I think we'll start with the way in which people are optimizing sleep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so sleep tech. We know that sleep is important, right? But research is showing that sleep is obviously important towards happiness, and we all know that we're supposed to get our 8 hours or at least 7. I think I read in your reporting that it was a $1 billion industry, the sleep tech industry in 2025, that much money was invested. You have been reporting about the kind of new frontiers of sleep technology. What are some of these products that people are putting out around sleep, and what do they do, and how do they help people sleep?
Sure. So I think everyone is pretty familiar with sleep tracking. Like we've had a decade of, apps and gadgets being like, you did not sleep well, or here is your bad sleep score. But what we've really seen lately is a kind of a new wave of products that are more about sleep interventions. So these are kind of beds that like flip you a little bit in the night. They have air coils that like inflate and deflate if it kind of notices you making micro movements. Like the idea is that just before we wake, our kind of body makes these like little twitches and the bed notices that. And then, it doesn't flip you, like adapts to it by like pumping up some air coils to just like slightly shift your position.
So this bed has like a sensor in it and a camera and it's listening to you, or what's going on?
No cameras, a lot of sensors, and, an AI engine running it all. So it will kind of notice as you're sleeping, like if you're making like little kind of movements, and it'll be like, okay, this one like symbolizes that this person is probably going to wake. So maybe if we just like tweak them a little, they'll stay asleep.
This reminds me so much of the snoo bassinet. Does anyone know what that is? When my first child, the snoo bassinet had not been invented, but so he had to just sleep the old-fashioned way, which was terribly and upset. But our second child had this robot bassinet, and it was just like this, where like the second that he started to cry or move, it would notice, and then it would start to shake him. And the thing that's crazy, I don't know if anyone in this room has used a snoo bassinet, but like it shakes your baby so much faster than you think. I really, really was worried the first time we put our child in it because it started moving so rapidly that I was like, oh my God, this is too fast. Like this is definitely shaken baby syndrome. So then I picked him up and all of my worries were confirmed when he projectile vomited all over me. But I will say that he's a great sleeper, and it really helped him a lot. And when I was like a really, really sleep-deprived new mom watching him, I was like, damn, they should make one of those for me. It sounds like they did.
Yeah, that will keep you asleep. It also has a program where it will slightly rock you to sleep with music at the same time. So, check.
Finally, a snoo for adults.
Getting flipped around when you're sleeping for your own happiness, like that feels like what my girlfriend does to me when I'm snoring, just like a firm kick to like roll me over. But what do you, from your perspective as like a tech reporter, as someone who's like looking into this, like, does this hold water? Like, do these technologies seem like they're, even in their prototype stages or wherever they're at, like, are they actually helping people sleep better?
So there's a bunch of different ones. So there's some headphones which have little EEGs kind of embedded in them, and it will monitor your brainwaves while you sleep. And if your brainwaves kind of go towards a state that's away from deep sleep, it like pipes in pink noise, like the idea being that will kind of nudge you back into better sleep.
What's pink noise?
I Googled this because
Okay.
I was like, there's apparently violet noise. There's a lot of noise colors.
I only knew about white.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Again, it's like kind of a staticky sounding noise that like is meant to be more restful. You have like the headband over here, which again uses EEGs and like, electric currents that will like monitor what your brainwaves are like and then like basically zap you in a way to try and get your brainwaves into the optimal state. And I realize this all sounds like absolute rubbish, but the people who are working on this are like pretty legit. Like they have a scientific background. They were from Stanford, all these institutions, and they have published a bunch of papers. So, well, we can't say it will work for everyone. It's not like sleep science snake oil.
It also seems from your reporting, if I remember correctly, that a lot of the people who are involved in these companies are people who sleep really badly themselves. So they're passionate about trying to solve this problem. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody, like they either want to optimize their sleep or they have a sleep disorder. And I feel like everyone is always complaining they're tired, they haven't had enough time to sleep. And this is really just playing into like, how can we fix it? Like, how can we spend money and actually just sleep better?
Yeah.
We were talking about this before the show, and like, I think we run into this with a lot of these technologies that are supposed to be helping to self-optimize and that seem like expensive. And so it's like, is there like an ethical or moral issue here when it's like we are optimizing only a certain like economic stratosphere of the populace that has access, that's going to have the money to buy the new sleep headband that will make your sleep better than everyone else's,
I mean, to an extent. I mean, we've seen the data, and rich people in the Bay Area do sleep better. Like when we mapped it to, I feel like
It's true.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the like sleep efficiency is something like 35. Like people in the Marina and the Presidio have the best sleep in the city, and
Oh, it's just like I'm
truly-
sleeping on a pile of money. It's so soft. I've done it. It's like, ooh, it's so you just rub the
Forget
ash
memory
everywhere.
foam. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, in reporting, you mentioned that 32% of San Franciscans, according to like a recent CDC study, which I mean, I know the CDC is run by someone who maybe doesn't like hold all the like. I don't know if I totally believe him, but like. 32% of San Franciscans get less than 7 hours of sleep. That's a wild number. That's a huge number. I mean, like a third of this room is people who are going to go home and toss and turn all night and wake up and be grouchy to their peers at work or their spouses, right? So this is a really important issue that's affecting a lot of us.
Yeah.
yeah. And when it comes to kids in the Bay Area, I think they get like less than 6 hours as well. So it's even worse for them.
Which is crazy since they need more sleep than adults. Mm-hmm. And that is another reason why school should start later. Okay, let's talk about another way in which self-optimizers are dealing with trying to take control of this year. You wrote a story last year, which I was so excited to edit and proud of you for beating all the national press to the story, which was about how everyone in San Francisco has a Chinese peptide dealer now. And I didn't know about it until you brought that story to us. But this year, when my friends were talking about what do they want to get this year to take control of their lives, one of my friends was like, I got to get me a Chinese peptide dealer. So can you tell us why? What is going on with this? What do peptides do? Why would they make someone happier, better, more productive?
So peptides are short-chain amino acids, basically like kind of very small proteins, and they're kind of used in the body for like regenerating, rebuilding, healing. And everyone's probably heard of peptides because Ozempic is a peptide. Mm. So, they help you kind of like lose weight. Some of them will help your skin look better. And people really are looking for shortcuts. And I think the amount of buzz about peptides, like with the Chinese peptide dealers, it really becomes an actually affordable option. Like you might not be able to like be in a hyperbaric chamber, but you can like order a bunch of stuff from a sketchy website.
So yeah.
Well, tell us, why is it the Chinese peptide dealer? Are the peptides coming from China or is the dealer Chinese? Like what's happening?
I mean, most of the peptides sold in America legally and, in the gray market as well are from China.
I see.
Yeah, so I mean, I had never heard about this before you were reporting. I'm sure a lot of people haven't. Tell us, what do you get? So like I go online and I'm like, I want a peptide that's going to help my hair look nicer. So I buy that and it comes from China and then it shows up in a vial and then what happens? Like inject it?
Generally, you inject. It tends to be better than intranasally or kind of taking a tablet. You would normally get a kind of vial of powder, then you get like bacteriostatic water. You mix them together. I'm not trying to do a peptide tutorial right now.
Yeah. Well, tell us how people are using them. Like the people that you've reported on, tell us what they use them for and how.
So I think with peptides, a lot of people in the Bay Area are seeing them as kind of optimizing, like better recovery, better skin. And there's one company, they're called Superpower. They're an AI concierge longevity startup, which...
A lot of buzzwords.
A lot of words in that sentence.
Yeah.
And they have Peptide Fridays. So they were like, oh, how do we get people back to the office? Like, we want to do an all hands, like nobody's eating the bagels. And I mean, they're in longevity.
Well, they'll come in to get a shot in their butt.
Wait, okay, so they're giving it out, or they're doing the injections at work.
Yeah, they will pass around different syringes and like different alcohol pads around the table. And every week they do a different peptide. It's like a good perk.
And I mean, like, how legal is this? This sound like, I know you said gray zone, but like, is it gray zone just because the feds haven't decided to crack down on it yet? Because the FDA hasn't like looked at the safety of this yet? Like, will it soon be illegal? Should we all get in our peptides now before they're made illegal?
I mean, maybe. Like, these are like research use only peptides. Like, so that's the workaround, basically. Like, you can order them because, it's for research. Like, there's never like, were you doing these in humans or using it for the self? Like, the wording everywhere is like very clear, like research use.
But then the research is on my own body.
Yes.
Got it.
Well, I mean, is there research into like some of these other peptides? I mean, I think we know that Ozempic works, at least for what it's supposed to do, right? Like, are these other peptides effective? Do we know if any of them do the things they said they're going to do?
A lot of them have actually a lot of history. There's some of the more extreme peptides that kind of come from Russia, where everyone is always like, just look at the Russian paper, and then I can't find half of these studies online. So there are some which are even more fringe. But a lot of them, like, BPC 157, I think that's like legal in Australia, like, though not allowed by a bunch of sports authorities. So.
And what does that peptide do?
It helps with healing. So, if you tear a muscle or if you work out too much, you kind of inject this. And the idea is, again, it would be a protocol. So only a certain amount for a certain amount of time. The idea is like, actually, you just recover better.
And how much does a peptide like that cost?
I mean, you could probably get it for a tenner.
$10?
Well, maybe $20, including shipping and tax.
Wow.
Shipping is very
What's
high.
What's the website?
I mean, the truth is, though, ever since you reported on peptides, then I've noticed that it's just like a marketing buzzword, too. Like, I'm in line at the grocery store, and it's like, oh, you want to put this magnesium in this is a peptide magnesium swirl that you could just buy with your People magazine at the checkout. So maybe people are getting hip to it, and they're using it as a marketing ploy.
I mean, everyone wants to be on the peptide train. I went to a peptide rave not that long ago.
Okay. Well, this is a great segue into asking you about all various kinds of raves that you've gone to. But first, what happened at the peptide rave? Like people injecting themselves?
They did not inject themselves. They drew blood and they gave demos. And they had all the chemical molecules on the wall in little laser lights.
So like...
Because science.
Like we talked so far about sleep optimization, and you like sleep to feel more joy when you're awake. And we've talked about peptides because it's like, I guess if you're healing faster or you're losing weight, if that's what you want to do, maybe it'll make you feel joy. But then there's like things that are joy in and of themselves, like dancing, right? Like dancing is like a direct route to joy. And you did some really interesting reporting around people attempting to optimize that type of joy, or like looking at trying to quantify the joy that you get by dancing in a manner that, to me, honestly, seemed pretty alien and hard to decipher. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So I think this was the longevity rave, and it was called the Joy Score Experiment. And how this ties in is when we think about longevity, we have like health span, how healthy you are, lifespan, like how long you'll live. And this third pillar, joy span, is kind of with the idea of like social community and togetherness. And I think we all know like having that in your life really does impact your health. But that's also very squishy. Like, how do you know how happy you are for how long? You can't like press a button or inject yourself, well, maybe inject yourself with something, but in terms of like, how do you make yourself happy? And so at this rave, they took blood samples, they took saliva samples, they had little EEGs behind people's ear to kind of monitor their brain. And the whole goal, and then they, played a bunch of music and had self-reports. And the idea is, if you notice difference, from their biology, can we kind of create like a joy score metric that can be copied?
And where was this taking place?
This was in Frontier Tower, which is this sort of co-working fringe networking place on Market Street.
I mean, measuring your joy that obsessively seems to me exceedingly not joyful, and very stressful. Like, am I happy now? Oh no, am I happy now? Like, I can imagine that being stressful. But also, I guess in a room of people partaking in it, everyone sort of bought in. Was it fun?
I mean, people were definitely like, this is not the most fun rave I've been to.
Not surprised. Was it like I'm now imagining like a middle school dance style situation? Is that what the vibes were?
Well, I think one of the problems is because everyone had these little EEGs stuck behind their ear. They were told not to like dance too much, so they were.
Oh my God!
Bobbing on the spot a little bit. So
they're bobbing on a spot.
Yeah, I mean they were smiling, but
I promise I'm happy.
But like, and what was the outcome? Like, did they figure out how to quantify joy? Did they figure out that people were less joyful because, they were bobbing in place, as you said?
I mean, they haven't crunched all of the data yet, but they're doing another experiment on Honduras, I think, in a month or two, where they're going to have a much bigger sample size. So we will, TBD.
On the country of Honduras?
On the Isle of Roatan, off the coast of Honduras, on a charter pop-up network city.
Oh, cool.
Did you want those buzzwords?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, and like, what is the, I mean, I guess quantifying it, is that just like the end goal? They just want to quantify it so that they can have this metric that people can use? Are they going to like sell this to other products, or I don't know, companies that would want to like use this metric in their own companies? Or are they going to try to monetize it themselves? I'm just curious, what do you do with this?
I mean, they have said that a bunch of luxury resorts are really interested, but I think the idea is if you can quantify joy, then maybe, you can press like a music track, or you can do something, and then people can get into this joy flow state. And maybe there will be like competitive joy tracking. Yeah,
see, I just think the worst outcomes for this, right? Like, I think of someone putting on a joy tracker, going to some event that they pay a lot of money for, and then being like, I didn't achieve the goal level that I wanted to, and going up afterwards and be like, I want my money back. This said I thought it was going to be a joy level 8, and I only got to a 5, Like, where are we going with this?
I mean, maybe you don't go to that event again until you find a joy level 8 event.
Yeah, okay.
But it's interesting that you said that resorts are interested in it, because to me, that means that they just want to be able to say, like, come to the Four Seasons, because we guarantee that your joy level goes from a 3 to a 10.
It's possible.
The Four Seasons has nothing to do with this podcast, and that I just made that up. So,
So I mean, Zara, like, as someone who's interacted with all these joy technologies or optimizing technologies, do you see yourself personally ever like wanting to bring them into your own life?
I mean, I think they're really interesting. Like, if you can get a joy tracker, I kind of compare it to like the continuous glucose monitors, which, I wore for a while, and I would notice that when I was stressed, like my blood sugar would drop. It didn't massively change anything, but I was aware of it. If I had like a joy tracker and I was like, oh, my score went up and I was just with my friends, I feel like having that kind of insight, it might encourage me to actually do more things that are good for me.
It just makes me think of like the fact that people are so out of touch with their own feelings, maybe because they're staring at their phones all day and they're like having this out of body experience. And they're like, I'm so out of touch with my own feelings because I'm always looking at my phone. I'm going to put something on my phone so that it tells me how my body feels. It just feels like this circular thing that's like, maybe if you just put it down your phone. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, but those probably aren't the people who are trying to improve
that's right. They're not trying to sell you anything. Yeah, okay.
Well, Zara, thank you so much for reporting on all of this weird stuff and telling us all about it. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Zara.
Sure. Thank you for being here.
Zara. Yeah, I mean, I hate to be the one that sounds like I don't believe in any of that, but I don't. I just don't like. I'm a total skeptic when it comes to that stuff.
I mean, I think that it's very valid to be skeptical, and I too am extremely skeptical. I'm first of all not going to inject myself with a peptide. Like they might help, and there's a lot of things that might be good for me that I'm not going to be doing.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not. We didn't get to find out how much that snoo bed costs, but it's definitely out of my price range.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like there are other like more. For me personally, and I know a lot of people feel the same way in my personal life, like there's the other way that you can lean away from technology and optimization towards maybe like more visceral, traditional ways. And I mean, obviously there's like massage and mahjong, sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, so we were talking about the people who are like gonna like tracking their data and gonna control their lives, but I think you're talking about the people who are gonna release, like just get their hands dirty, like go out into the world.
Or smoke more weed, which is like what I'm planning on doing this year.
I know. I love that for you. I'm gonna smoke less weed, but I'm thinking.
Foolish.
I'm thinking about taking up. I really I'm embarrassed to admit this, but also I'm just gonna bring my whole self to the podcast. My thing that I'm thinking of doing that I'm sure is bad for me, but I think might be good for me anyways, is smoking an occasional cigarette.
Oh.
I know. Aren't you horrified?
This San Francisco crowd just gave you the...
I know.
You hear the hissing? Ooh.
But here's the thing. Life is hard. Does anyone... life just continues to be hard. And every time I feel like I'm on top of it, well, I'm a big girl now. I know how to handle this. It just a new challenge happens where then I'm like, whoa, I am not prepared for this and I don't know how I'm going to get through it. And then I'm 42 years old now, and I've realized I've spent a lot of my life not doing the things that are really, really bad for me. And I'm like, maybe one cigarette now and then. I have a friend who's like, Emily, listen, when I smoke cigarettes, that's my meditation. And then she literally had the audacity to tell me, and you know what? Power to her. She goes, Emily, when I smoke cigarettes, that's my breath work, okay? I'm taking deep breaths and inhaling cigarettes. And I just have to say, and then I read the Wall Street Journal had a piece, the New York Times had a piece all about Gen Z people who are embracing cigarettes again, which is whoa, okay. They grew up in the anti-smoking world. I thought they were just going to be vaping in the middle school bathrooms forever. But they're going back old school and maybe I'm going to too. I personally don't really love how cigarettes taste. And when I used to smoke them back in the day, I kind of didn't love it all that much. I really just loved the social aspect of it. And the fact that when you're kind of awkward in a party, suddenly you go outside and there's the cooler group of people who you can have a more intimate conversation with. And so maybe there is a joy benefit to it as long as I don't become addicted to it and it's just now and then.
Yeah, tell yourself whatever you want. That sounds great. It sounds great. I was looking right in your eyes. You really bought that, so I'm not gonna.
Okay.
I'm not gonna.
Well, so that might not be how everyone goes about it. But one of the reasons why let me ask you before we move on.
Yeah.
What are you going to do this year to embrace more joy?
I've been thinking about this. I have a very good friend of mine who just died, who was one of my best friends and kind of a San Francisco legend. If some of y'all know him, his name was Marcelo Aviles. He was a guy who he made his life going to events, going to parties, and he was the one who booked the summer music festival at Yerba Buena Garden Festival. Oh, cool. And all the music that you saw there was my good friend who did that. And he would always invite me out. He would always invite me out every night, every couple times a week to go see shows with him because that was his job, to go see shows, to go see bands, to book. And I always said no because I always had stuff to do. And because I'm an adult and I can't go out on a weeknight because I got to wake up and report the next day. But I think this year I'm going to go to some shows. My friend died. I want to honor his memory.
Yeah.
I want to be, we used to call this guy the Lord of the Night. Me and my mutual friends, because he was always out at night. And I want to try to be maybe not the Lord of the Night, but a squire of the night. You know?
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's my goal this year.
I love that for you. Design is everywhere in our lives, perhaps most importantly in the places where we've just stopped noticing. 99% Invisible is a weekly podcast that explores the power of design and architecture. host Roman Mars asks questions like, why do we use the bleep sound to cover up inappropriate words on radio and TV? And what's with mall culture? And how did it become such a ubiquitous part of American life? And why are houseplants having a moment right now? 99% Invisible will answer all that and more every Tuesday. Follow and listen to 99% Invisible wherever you get your podcasts. So a lot of people in San Francisco that we know also have ideas about how to embrace freedom, release, just like old school analog ways of getting back in touch with our bodies and ourselves. And one thing I learned last year as the culture editor at The Standard was how large San Francisco's sex scene is, which I did not know about. Other than kink.com was my understanding. Okay, we have a kinky scene. I knew that kind of barely. But then what I learned last year was that we have this this is a city where if you want to get involved in a countercultural sex scene, you can. From swingers clubs to orgy networks to informal just sex parties. And it was really exciting to learn about. And a lot of the friends that I know who are here's some ways I want to get happy this year have said one of the ways they want to get happy is to have more sex. So I thought, what a great opportunity for us to talk to someone who is inside and understands San Francisco's sex scene in case if people want to embrace joy this year, they want to go to maybe their first orgy.
Yeah, sounds fun to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
So let's bring to the stage William Winters, the founder of the Bonobo Network. Welcome, William.
Welcome, Winter. Welcome, William.
Welcome, William Winter. Thank you so much. So you are the founder of the Bonobo Network.
Yeah, founder, CEO, dude in charge.
Dude in charge. Love it.
Sure, why not?
So for people who
You're in chief, one might say.
For people who are not familiar, tell us what the Bonobo Network is.
Sure. Bonobo Network is a sex-positive, membership-based community organization.
Cool.
We produce events of all kinds. Like tomorrow night in the city, we're doing a public speaking event called Ignite After Dark. 16 speakers give 5-minute talks on sexuality, relationships, psychedelics,
Sweet.
more
All my
local
favorite things.
So from the more intellectual to happy hours and meetups and potlucks, real meaningful community building. And then we produce, of course, giant sex parties. And that's, I'd say we're known for that more than the potlucks and stuff.
Then the public talks.
I think that's a fair thing to say, but we're really trying to demonstrate our range, And in fact, one of the biggest productions that we do in a given year is called Bonobo Fest, or the Bonobo Network Festival, and that takes place Memorial Day weekend every year, where there are 400 of us who go to this amazing retreat center in Northern California, and do all kinds of things from workshops to dancing to ridiculous DJs and live music and art, and also, of course, fucking of various things.
Fucking. Okay, I was waiting for that part.
Yeah.
What is a bonobo? And why did you name your network after bonobos?
Sure. So bonobos are a great ape. They are, by some measures, our closest ape relative. It's bonobos, humans, and chimpanzees all shared a common ancestor, 5 billion years ago or something. I made that number up. Please don't.
Way back.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah.
And bonobos are, they used to be called pygmy chimpanzees because people thought they were just a version of chimps. But it turns out that they evolved in this really abundant part of Africa where, they just didn't have to worry that much about food and that kind of thing. And so they developed this culture and these seemingly inborn preferences for doing conflict resolution without necessarily doing a lot of violence. They have a very sexual culture. And in fact, a quick fuck is kind of like a bonobo handshake, bonobos use sex in the same way that other primates, including humans and also bonobos themselves, use like trading fruit or grooming or that kind of thing, to like build social connection, to release tension. And, there was this really great book called Sex at Dawn that came out in, I guess, 2010, somewhere around there. And it talked all about this idea that humans, behaviorally speaking, have this choice in how we orient. We can be, violent and, monogamous and use sex in all of these like terrible abusive ways like chimpanzees sometimes do. Or we could be like cooperative and we can use sex in all kinds of like socially productive ways like bonobos do. And that was kind of the thesis of the book. And it was really inspiring to me as I was starting to build community around polyamory and ethical non-monogamy and sexual freedom.
This resonates with me because when I was in college, there was a woman who was obsessed with bonobos because she was always talking about how they were the only other animal that would have sex for pleasure, which I don't know if that's true or not.
It is true.
But then she used that as...
Also face-to-face sex.
And so she told us because of that we should be more like bonobos and would always, whenever we were in dorm rooms hanging out, get everyone to take their shirts off. She was like, let's be like bonobos. And then we would just all be topless.
When I was a kid, I also tried to create pretext for orgies.
I definitely think that's what was going on.
Yeah.
So can you talk to us a little bit about why like the San Francisco Bay Area has such a robust sex scene and such a like diverse and open like polyamory and kink community?
So I'm from Louisiana originally, and my partner and I opened up our relationship when we were still living in Louisiana in like 2007, before like the sort of polyamory media revolution really like kicked off. But when I learned that I was getting a job in the Bay Area about a year later, I was like, wow, cool. It's like we're moving to the fertile crescent of polyamory, And I say that because like, truly, like this is where so much incredible sex culture has been born in the United States, or where it's been like refined, certainly. I mean, for years, San Francisco and the Bay Area more broadly has been this mecca for people who want to like live and think differently. Like the hippies saw it.
Right.
Various like weird cult leaders and commune organizers saw it, right? Like there's just been this like draw for people who want to like think differently, who want to, I hate using this word, but like innovate.
But yeah,
I mean, also like the gay community, right? Like we were
precisely
a mecca for people who
That's
were like,
exactly right.
For them, it was like a political issue as well.
Yeah, gays, trans folks, all like queers of all kinds, right? I mean, like, and so the idea that, like these kinksters, the Bay Area is the home of Society of Janus, which is the nation's second oldest longstanding kink organization, like kink and leather organization. And so, there's just so much history here. And I think that the countercultures that the Bay Area has attracted over the years have really fed each other so profoundly. I think that like the sexual countercultures learned from the queers, learned from the kinksters, learned from the psychedelic harm reduction folks, and so like in this broad counterculture, there's just been like so much opportunity for refinement among the people who are leading lights in those particular spaces.
That's so cool. Well, so for part of the reason why we wanted to have you on is because, some people some people we know, and just every year, I guess, are saying like, we want to have more sex. And so for people for whom the way that they might be thinking about that is like, maybe they're thinking about opening up their relationships or trying to get involved in this world for the very first time. Could you tell us like, what do people need to know if they wanted to go to their first orgy? Like, is there an application process? Does everyone get in? Like, does everyone have sex? How does it work?
That's a really big question. Okay, so what do you need to know before you go to your first orgy? Maybe read a book. Find a copy of the ethical slut or something like that. Like actually like figure out how to like orient towards the culture. There's a really great book called Opening Up that I love. There are so many amazing content creators on the internet, right? Like you don't ever at this point have to go in unprepared, you know? And I think that there's sometimes this like hubris that people have when they approach these worlds, especially when they're transitioning out of like, you know, the world of like monogamous heteronormativity, you know, that's like, okay, I'm just gonna, and frankly, especially cishet dudes, like it's just, it's so bad, where it's like, you know, I'm gonna show up with like the skills I learned at a, you know, pickup artist class I took in 2006.
Oh, geez.
And, you know, I'm going to show up and I'm going to get so fucking laid. And then it turns out that, like, you don't know how to, like, be vulnerable. You don't know how to, like, be interested in other people. You don't know, like, you just don't have, like, the basic socio-emotional skills that create the, like, relational scaffolding and, like, all of the trust that it takes for people to decide they actually would like to maybe explore playing with you in some way, right? Like, I mean, I think that like, and maybe so that's like one practical thing that you should know about entering these spaces, right? Like they are context-rich environments, you know, like if someone is throwing an orgy, for the most part, like this isn't like nothing is absolute, but like for the most part, like it's going to be with people who are part of like a network of friends, contacts, an organization, perhaps, whatever, right? And you walk in and there might be some kind of context setting, you know, like in Bonobo Network's events, we often start our parties with an opening circle. And that's where, you know, I or whoever is producing the party gets up front at the top of the party and we talk about the ideas, the principles that bring us together, unite us, and, you know, the kind of rules of the road in broad strokes. And that just kind of like gets everybody into this, like, we're all in this together kind of mindset, right?
And like you're all agreeing to the same rules.
Yeah, you're agreeing to the same precepts, you know? Yeah, exactly. Like we value the same things, you know? And that's a pretty good launching point for figuring out, okay, like, if all these people in here share all this like ideological context, you know, like we believe the same things, like I can trust that the people in this space are going to see me first as a full and complete human being and not first as like a wish fulfillment machine, you know, or like an object of pleasure. Like if you put a coin in, you get sex, you know, out of the end, like people really see me as a person, then that like lets me feel free enough and safe enough to like explore with other people up to whatever level I want to. And the thing is, like, people go to sex parties for all kinds of reasons. And like one of my very first play parties in the Bay Area, you know, I remember talking with someone whose grandfather was like on his deathbed across the country and she couldn't make it to be with her family. And so she was like, you know what? I have zero interest in having sex with anyone tonight, but I want to be with my people in the most vibrant space, like the most life-affirming place I could possibly imagine being right now, you know? And that to her felt appropriate. And like, that was a huge lesson for me. Like, right, like these parties are about so much more than sex. They're about community at their best, you know? And so I think that, I mean, certainly you can find events that are purely about the sex part.
Right.
Well, can I ask you a question? One, like, I mean, as we're talking about why people all go to these things, like, I mean, have you in the last year or so? I think, like Emily was saying earlier, I think a lot of people have been feeling down in the last year or two, or even the last few years
since COVID. Yeah.
Since you know, is it a different vibe at the parties you host now? Are you seeing more interest? Like people are like, I need to find joy somewhere, and so I want to come to this event. Or is it less interest? You know, like how have things changed? Or has what's happening in the world, is that ever reflected at these parties?
Yeah, I'd say it's always reflected at these parties. I mean, the thing I like to tell people is that it might seem sometimes like we are bracketed from the world at large. I think Priya Parker, who wrote The Art of Gathering, writes about like really great gatherings having creating temporary alternative worlds. And Bonobo and all these other spaces are creating these like temporary rule sets that seem like amazing and so full of possibility, but like every part of it, from like who's in the room to how we articulate our values, whatever, is like is of the world, not separate from the world, especially if you're in party scenes that are economically diverse, racially or ethnically diverse, in the Bay Area. Then like you see people showing up being profoundly impacted by the ways the world is. I mean, I think that right now, we're actually seeing lower attendance in many cases, in part because of like the economy in the Bay Area, making it pretty hard for people to choose to like invest a lot in certain kinds of leisure activities, but also because the world is just a profoundly unsexy place right now. Like it can be, I think, really hard sometimes, like find the mojo when like our countrymen are being shot in the fucking face by ICE, like, I mean, like that, like it can be hard to let that go. And in Bonobo, I mean, we have like every counterculture organization in the Bay Area, we have principles. And the fourth principle in Bonobo is high challenge, high support. It's the idea that like these spaces can be fun, sure, but they can also be like really challenging in part because of just like the material here, the fact that like sex parties seem almost like uniquely designed to bring up your deepest high school shit, like all the stuff around like belonging and all that kind of stuff, right?
Insecurity.
But yeah, exactly. But then there's also the fact that like not everybody gets to just like check their lives at the door, and so it's like really a call that to show up with like low expectation about like what people want there, beyond just like being in connection with other people, being in community.
Well, it sounds like, we're talking about sex parties, but a lot of what you're saying, I think, could apply to any kind of gathering and community. And I wonder if like there's lessons in how Bonobo approaches these things and what you've learned and how people can show up, even if it's just like to your mom group or whatever party, like bringing your whole self.
Yeah. Newsflash. You don't need orgies to build community.
Damn,
that's how I was going to convince my husband to go to one. No, I'm joking.
I mean, they can be helpful. It's true.
Yeah.
Good save.
Thank you.
They can be helpful, but it's not strictly necessary, And so yeah. I mean, I think that we do a lot of things right, and it's like partly because I was an activist and organizer in my former life. In part, it's because I've done a lot of just like training, like I think that like moving here from Louisiana, I had to like really learn like, oh my God, all these Bay Area people are talking about their feelings. What the fuck is this shit? And so I had to like, I actually like took like counseling trainings and coaching trainings and did like men's circles and shit so that I could figure out like how to like actually build my capacity to be with people in meaningful ways, And I'm not saying that everybody has to do that in order to like go to an orgy, but it is actually helpful if you also like invest in yourself as like a full and complete human being, and then you too will probably be able to like think deeply about how to build resilient communities.
Well, I feel like that is the perfect note to end on, and really inspiring. And I honestly could ask you a million questions about orgies all day long, and I didn't get to ask you any of my favorite ones. But we thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was so deep.
Yeah,
Profound.
you know what? I knew the orgy talk was going to be profound. Everything I learned about orgies this year, I've been like, wow, that is not what I was expecting. I did a story. One of my favorite stories I wrote last year was about a woman who met the love of her life it wasn't an orgy. It was a planned consensual gangbang. And while they were in the middle of the act, they made eye contact and she was like, that is my husband. And then now they are in a monogamous relationship and just had a baby. That was how they met in Berkeley.
Bay Area love.
Bay Area love story.
You can't be.
That's a different
Why would you want to live anywhere else? You know what I'm saying?
Man, that was just really interesting. Okay, so now we're going to read maybe the way in which you guys in the audience are going about approaching joy this year.
Yeah, let's see. We got some cards here that y'all filled out. Folks in the audience about how people are finding joy. Okay.
You want to just randomly hand them to me and I'll read them?
Yeah, read
okay,
it.
this one says, my 2026 resolution, even though I don't believe in resolutions, is to talk to strangers more. I feel that so much. Talking to strangers is so important. Actually, I wanted to write a book called Talking to Strangers that was all about why that's so important. And then Malcolm Gladwell wrote that book.
That jerk.
How dare he?
I mean, but like that is your life. That is our life.
It is.
We talk to strangers for a living.
That is what we do.
A lot of journalists do that. Hold on, let me read this one.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to take a mushroom journey and also take a Brazilian dance class.
Damn, great.
That sounds like straight joy.
Yeah, also, like, after you do the mushroom journey, then you should do the mushroom journey and the Brazilian dance class at the same time.
right.
Don't do it as your first one,
Yeah. Maybe
but it sounds like it could be a good combo.
piano.
Oh, this one, okay, I respect this. Someone is going to learn the piano. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
More piano players in the world. It's the saddest thing is you go to an airport and they've got this beautiful piano and everyone's staring at it and no one knows how to play it. And we're like, what have we lost as a society? Right?
Yeah. Well, and also, like, not for nothing, piano lessons, people talk about them like they're only for kids. Like, guess what? Adults are allowed to learn new instruments too. My kids I take them every single Sunday to learn a musical instrument. And one day I was like, I'm just sitting here on my phone while they're learning a musical instrument. Why don't I sign up for lessons too? So then I sign up for singing lessons.
Oh, yeah. Also, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Emily's is the craziest whistler I know personally. You got to bust it out for us now. Come on, whistle something for us.
Oh shoot. Okay. Want me to keep going?
Okay, yeah. I love your whistling.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, petting my dog even more.
Aww.
Yes, we love your dog. Pet your dog.
I mean, my legitimate way of getting happier this year is that I got a puppy, which, like, wow. She is pooping all over our house. So careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
I want to try a new drug. Open to suggestions.
So like out of all, like we've read through 4 cards and 2 of them about drugs already.
Yeah. Well, listen, hard endorse for mushrooms. Like, mushrooms could not be a better drug to. I don't know what this person is used to, but like,
we
got some people agree.
In the audience.
You can micro, you can macro. You know, I recently went to my favorite mushroom church in the city, of which there are many, and asked for a mushroom that would give me ego death, which is my favorite kind of mushroom. And then I forgot that that's what I had asked for.
Like in the middle of your trip.
No, but it was just like, that was for my own personal use. But then I went to like a girls' weekend with my like friends who are like from college and like moms I know and like whatever. They're not really that into mushrooms, but they were like, Emily will bring the mushrooms, which I had. And then I passed them around at the Berkeley Botanical Garden. And then my friend was like, I'm not like feeling the same feeling that I normally feel. Like, it's like a little bit different. And that was when I flashed back to being like, I wanted to be the ego death one.
Yeah.
And listen, she had the night of her life.
Quit my job. Yes, do
Damn.
it. Do it. If you're writing this down for us, do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you want to quit, just do it. The universe will show you something else. Will show you a new path to take.
I was soliciting like the internet, like what are you doing this year to get happy? And I asked in the San Francisco subreddit, and one person was like, I'm quitting my job, and I recommend that that's what everybody does. Which that sounds like someone who like had a good exit and they don't have to work anymore. Like, the rest of us are stuck.
Yeah, unfortunately. Oh, what's this?
My husband and I are scheduling sex twice per week. It's decidedly not sexy, but it's always fun once we get into it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, go you.
I have some friends.
Real talk.
No,
go
yeah.
you. Like, I'm not being like facetious here. Like, whatever it takes to get there, right?
And if you're someone who lives by your Google Calendar, like, if it's not there are some people for whom if it is not on the calendar, it is not happening.
Yeah. Learn to make pizza in the badass outdoor pizza oven I got for Christmas. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if there's one thing that I think everyone can agree on in this world is that we need more pizza and more good pizza, right?
Yeah.
Let's like make 2026 a year of better pizza.
And if you're someone who has a badass outdoor pizza oven, don't let it go to waste.
Yeah.
I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, me too. Super
Yeah.
jealous.
Those were all great
those are all
ideas.
the- yeah.
And I really just hope that everyone can have a year filled with joy. It's like the original headline for this podcast episode was how to not let despair in. We decided to be more positive, like how to embrace joy. But I hope for both of those things to happen to people. Like, keep the darkness at bay, bring the light in, however you can.
You know what? I gotta admit it. I came into this with a kind of a curmudgeonly vibe, and I'm sure I'll wake up feeling that way tomorrow. But being here in this room with all of you and talking about joy and pizza ovens and scheduled sex, it makes me feel better. Like, real talk, it makes me feel better. So let's fucking have some scheduled sex and eat some pizza tonight. Huh?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming. Listen to our show, subscribe to The Standard, subscribe to our show.
Yeah, subscribe to The Standard, sign up for our show, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Later.
That was so great. I loved hearing people laugh live in the room. It was really, what a fun night.
Yeah, I really loved how everyone expected the orgy conversation to be really hilarious and fun. And it was, but it was like also deep and kind of profound.
Yeah, there is an unexpected profundity to orgies.
Today's episode was produced by Eddie Sun, Sophie Behrman, Matt Collette, and Michelle Lance. We used music by Bear Attack and Carly Bond.
Special thanks to Kevin Melmer and the staff at Manny's.
Thanks to our guests William Winters and Zara Stone. You can support Zara's reporting by becoming a member of the SF Standard by going to sfstandard.com/member.
I'm Emily.
I'm Jesse.
And this has been Pacific Standard Time.
Thanks for listening.